Find inner peace in a noisy world. Have you ever sat in silence, only to realize that silence is never truly silent? Even when the world outside pauses, the phone stops buzzing, the traffic quiets down, and the room grows still, there's still a noise that lingers. The noise inside. The racing thoughts. The lingering worries. The mental to-do list you didn't even know you were keeping. We live in a time where the world is louder than ever, not just in sound, but in demands, distractions, and expectations. Every scroll, every ping, every headline tugs at our attention. And somewhere in all that noise, we forget how to hear ourselves. But what if I told you, inner peace isn't about escaping the noise. It's about learning how to remain still within it. Ancient wisdom, from Buddhist monasteries tucked in the mountains of Tibet to Zen gardens in Kyoto, has long taught this. Peace is not the absence of noise, but the mastery of presence. You don't have to go on a silent retreat or give up modern life to find that peace. You just need to remember how to come home, to yourself. Let me share with you something simple, but profound, a practice that has changed the lives of many, including my own. It's called the pause. Just one breath. Right here. Right now. Let's try it together. Inhale slowly and exhale gently. Notice how, for just a moment, the world didn't need anything from you. That breath, that pause, was yours. When I first started practicing mindfulness, I believed it had to be perfect. That I needed a quiet room, the right playlist, incense maybe, and at least 20 uninterrupted minutes. But life doesn't give us that. Sometimes the dog barks. Sometimes the kids cry. Sometimes your thoughts are louder than any siren outside. But I've learned, through ancient teachings and daily practice, that peace is portable. You can carry it with you, even in the heart of chaos. One Buddhist monk once said, "You cannot stop the waves, but you can learn to surf." That's what mindfulness is. It's not shutting the world out. It's opening up to the present moment, with grace and awareness. Here's a practical way to begin. Next time you're in traffic, instead of reaching for your phone at the red light, place your hand gently on your heart. Feel it beat. A reminder that you're alive. That you're here. Or when someone speaks harshly to you, take one breath before responding. That one breath can be the difference between reaction and wisdom. You might be thinking, "Sure, that sounds nice, but my life is just too much right now." I hear you. And that's exactly why this matters. Because inner peace isn't a luxury. It's a lifeline. In a world that constantly pulls you in 100 directions, your ability to return to yourself becomes your greatest strength. Imagine walking through your day with an unshakable calm, where emails don't dictate your mood, where bad news doesn't destroy your hope, and where even the busiest moment can still hold a drop of stillness. This is not a fantasy. This is practice. And like any practice, it begins small. One breath. One pause. One moment where you choose to be here, rather than lost in what's next. There's something sacred about being present. It's where joy lives, where clarity returns, where you remember that you are not your thoughts, not your stress, not your schedule. You are the awareness behind it all, the stillness that watches, the peace that never left. It was just buried under the noise. So here's a question I invite you to carry with you today. What would change if I allowed this moment to be enough? Not when things slow down, not when I'm less busy, but now. What if this cup of coffee, this walk outside, this sunrise, this breath, was all part of peace finding me? Because it's not out there. It's not in the next achievement, the next vacation, or the next step promising to fix your life. It's right here. Always has been. The truth is, the world may never get quieter. But you can. Not by fighting the noise, but by becoming the space that holds it. And in that space, you'll find something deeper than calm. You'll find yourself. So if today feels overwhelming, if life feels too loud, take a breath, come home, and remember, peace is not a place you go, it's a presence you become. Thank you for spending this moment with me. If this spoke to you, share it with someone who could use a breath of stillness today. Stay gentle, stay grounded, and until next time, may you walk lightly and listen deeply. Unlocking inner peace in a world that never stops. Have you ever felt like the world just won't stop? The notifications, the schedules, the voices, the pressure, it's constant. Even when the room is quiet, the noise inside keeps going. You wake up tired. You go to sleep tired. And in between, your mind runs a marathon. Maybe you've tried to slow down, meditated for 5 minutes, deleted an app or two, even planned a weekend to disconnect. But somehow, the chaos finds its way back in. Why is that? Why does peace feel so far away in a world that's always on? Here's the truth we rarely talk about. You're not broken. Your nervous system wasn't designed for this much input. We are living in an age where everything demands our attention. Every beep, every headline, every expectation. And yet, we are expected to keep up. Smile. Be productive. Be responsive. Be okay. But what if being okay doesn't mean keeping up? What if being okay means stepping into yourself, instead of constantly reaching out? Let me offer you a new way to look at this, not as a problem to fix, but as a path to return to. Ancient wisdom from Buddhist, Stoic, and Taoist traditions offers something powerful. The idea that peace is not something we chase, it's something we remember. Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. That's what the Buddha taught. And yet, modern life convinces us the opposite. We are told we'll feel calm once the work is done. Once the inbox is clear. Once we retire, move, meditate longer, eat better, fix our routines. But have you noticed, there's always a new once? So here's the shift. This video isn't about escaping your life. It's about transforming how you experience it. It's about discovering that even in the chaos, even in the middle of the storm, there is a stillness inside you that nothing can touch. It's not far. It's one breath away. Let's try something together. Just for a moment, drop your shoulders. Unclench your jaw. Place one hand on your chest and one on your belly. Now take a slow breath in and exhale gently. Feel that? That's not just oxygen. That's space. That's the beginning of peace. I remember years ago, I was juggling too much. Deadlines, family stress, an aching sense of never being caught up. I thought if I could just push harder, work faster, things would settle. But they didn't. And I crashed. Not physically, but emotionally. That's when I stumbled across a line from a Zen monk that hit me like a whisper through fog. When you sit quietly, you become the mountain. That image changed everything. Not the wind. Not the trees. Not the storm. The mountain. Still. Steady. Rooted. You don't fight the wind. You anchor into what doesn't move. That's what ancient teachings give us, a way back to center. They don't tell us to escape the world. They teach us how to stand strong within it. And here's the beautiful part. You don't need hours of silence or a retreat in the woods. You just need intention. A few conscious breaths. A pause between reactions. A willingness to befriend this moment, exactly as it is. So here's a practice that might help you right now. It's simple. It's ancient. And it works. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, repeat this silently to yourself. I am here. This moment is enough. I return to myself. Say it again, slowly. Feel the truth in those words. Not as an affirmation to fix something, but as a doorway back home. Because in the end, peace is not passive. It's an active remembering. A reclaiming of your breath. Your time. Your attention. It's about choosing to respond rather than react. To soften when the world gets loud. To notice the sky. To sip your coffee like it matters. To greet your own heart with kindness. That's not weakness. That's power. The kind of power that doesn't shout, but steadies. That doesn't control, but allows. That doesn't rush, but roots. So let me ask you this. What would change in your life if you stopped waiting for the world to calm down and learned to be the calm instead? How might your relationship shift? How might your body feel? How might your day begin? This isn't about perfection. It's about presence. And presence, unlike the world around us, is always available. You don't have to earn it. You just have to return. So if today feels like too much, if the noise won't stop, if the demands keep piling up, remember this. You are not the chaos. You are not the noise. You are the awareness behind it, the breath beneath it, the stillness within it. Take one moment today, even just a breath, and let that be enough. Because sometimes one breath is the beginning of everything. The unexpected place where true peace begins. What if the secret to peace isn't found in a mountaintop retreat, a remote monastery, or a perfectly quiet room. What if the secret is much closer? Closer than you've ever imagined. Maybe even right here. Right now. In the middle of all this noise. You see, we've been told for years that in order to find peace, we must escape. Escape the noise. Escape the chaos. Escape the demands. But here's a question no one ever taught us to ask. What if true stillness isn't about escaping the world, but about meeting it differently? I remember walking through a crowded subway station once, New York, maybe 5 years ago. The kind of place where life moves at double speed. People were rushing, headphones in, eyes down. I felt my chest tightening with the pace, the pressure, the overstimulation. And then I saw her. An older woman, sitting on a bench, eyes closed, just breathing. Nothing fancy. No yoga mat. No incense. Just presence. And in the middle of all that rush, she looked. Still. I couldn't stop thinking about it. How could someone be so calm? Here. That's when I realized. Peace isn't found in a location. It's a practice of perception. Ancient teachings from Buddhism, Taoism, even Stoic philosophy. They all point to this same revelation. The outside world may be loud, demanding, unpredictable. But the inside world, that's yours to cultivate. You are the gatekeeper of your own stillness. And the most powerful practices don't ask you to leave your life. They ask you to enter it with new awareness. So what does that look like? Let's explore. 1. Choose your breath over your reaction. Life will always throw curveballs. But between the stimulus and your response, there is space. And in that space lies your freedom. Imagine you're stuck in traffic, already late. Your instinct? Clench, curse, spiral. But what if you chose to pause instead? 1 deep breath. 1 silent mantra. I don't have to match the chaos around me. It seems small, but this is how inner peace is built, moment by moment. 2. Embrace the present like a sacred visitor. We spend most of our day either regretting the past or fearing the future. But the present? It's where life is actually happening. The Zen masters say, drink your tea slowly and reverently, as if it is the axis on which the world turns. What if your cup of coffee, your walk to the mailbox, your glance at the sky? What if those were the portals to peace, not as tasks, but as invitations? 3. Redefine your relationship with noise. Most people think peace means silence, but that's not entirely true. Peace is not the absence of sound. It's the absence of inner resistance. Even in a busy cafe, you can close your eyes and find a rhythm in the noise, a hum of life, rather than a threat to your calm. Instead of fighting the world's volume, try softening your inner narrative. You are allowed to be calm, even when the world is not. I know this isn't always easy. There are days when your mind feels like a crowded room with no door. There are moments when anxiety tightens its grip, when peace feels impossible. But those are the exact moments that matter most, because it's in those moments that your practice becomes real. Not in the silence of the retreat, but in the messy middle of life. So here's what I invite you to try today. Find one moment, just one, where you interrupt the pattern. When the world gets loud, you go quiet inside. When someone speaks with frustration, you breathe instead of bite back. When you feel overwhelmed, you place one hand on your heart and just listen. You don't need hours. You don't need perfect conditions. You just need you. And a willingness to return. Return to the breath. Return to awareness. Return to the part of you that's always been steady, beneath the noise. You are not your stress. You are not your schedule. You are not your reactions. You are the space between all of it. The quiet witness. The calm in the center of the storm. So I ask you, what would shift in your life if you stopped searching outside for peace and began to uncover it inside? Not someday, but now. The city may never stop moving. The world may never stop asking. But your breath is always here. And so is your peace. Thank you for walking this moment with me. If this spoke to your heart, share it with someone who may have forgotten how powerful their stillness can be. And remember, you don't have to find peace. You just have to stop losing it. It was never gone, only buried. Now it's time to return. Why we are all so stressed? the hidden noise of modern life. Do you ever feel like your mind is constantly plugged into a socket that you can't seem to unplug? Like even when you're resting, you're not really resting. There's this subtle pressure humming in the background of daily life, a kind of static that never turns off. It's not just the loud, obvious stresses. It's the quiet ones, the invisible ones. A ping here, a red dot there, an unfinished task, a notification badge that won't go away. We are living in an age where everything demands our attention, constantly. And slowly, silently, it's exhausting us. Let's be honest, the world has changed. And not just in technology, but in how we relate to everything. There was a time when off meant truly off, when work stayed at the office, when home was home. But now, we carry our jobs in our pockets. Our friendships live in tiny glowing rectangles. We are available 24/7, and somehow still feel disconnected. The constant digital hum, the emails, the texts, the group chats, the never-ending scroll of other people's lives. It creates a pressure that's hard to name, but even harder to escape. Have you ever opened your phone for one quick thing and found yourself, 20 minutes later, spiraling through a comparison loop on social media? It's okay. We've all done it. That moment you go from checking your messages to wondering why your life doesn't look like someone else's highlight reel. That subtle feeling of not enough creeps in. Not loud, but insistent. This is the new normal. And we wonder why we feel so overwhelmed. But it's not just the external noise. It's the internal one too. That voice inside that whispers, you should be doing more. You're falling behind. You haven't earned your rest yet. The pressure to be constantly productive. The belief that your worth is tied to how much you get done. That you can finally relax once everything is checked off the list. But the list never ends, does it? You finish one task, and 3 more appear. You go to bed thinking about tomorrow. You wake up already behind. So we move faster. We multitask more. We drink more coffee. We plan more. We scroll more. We compare more. And in the middle of all that doing, we stop being. We stop noticing the breeze, the way the sunlight filters through the window, the way your chest rises and falls just because you're alive. We've forgotten how to just exist, without performance, without pressure, without proving. And here's something important no one really says out loud. It's not your fault. You didn't create this world of constant stimulation. You didn't choose this pace, but you're living in it and carrying the weight of it. But here's the hope. What's been trained can be untrained. What's been wired in can be rewired. What feels normal isn't necessarily natural, because underneath the noise, there is a place of stillness inside you. It's quiet. It's steady. It's untouched by the chaos of modern life. It's the part of you that watches without judgment, the part that remembers what really matters. You don't need to quit your job. You don't need to throw your phone into a lake. You just need to begin noticing, one moment at a time. When you feel the urge to check your phone, pause. When your to-do list overwhelms you, breathe. When your inner critic gets loud, whisper back, I'm already enough. You see, peace isn't a grand destination. It's a series of small choices. It's choosing to close your eyes for 10 seconds in the middle of a busy day. It's choosing to take a walk without headphones. It's choosing to look up from the screen and into someone's eyes. Sometimes, the most revolutionary act in a noisy world is to be fully present, to feel your feet on the ground, to take a slow sip of water, to listen to a loved one, really listen, to remember, this moment is all we ever truly have. So here's a gentle question to carry with you today. What would my life feel like if I allowed stillness to visit me more often? Not as a luxury, not as a reward for getting everything done, but as a necessity, as a birthright. Because the truth is, you were never meant to keep up with everything. You were meant to be here, to live, to breathe, to notice, to feel. The modern world may be loud, but your inner world doesn't have to be. Today, begin again. One breath, one pause, one gentle step toward quiet. You don't need to do more. You just need to be here. Thank you for listening. If this spoke to you, share it with someone who might need a little more space in their life 2. And remember, you are not the noise. You are the silence behind it. Ancient wisdom, modern relevance, the path less noisy. Have you ever felt like the world is just too loud? Not just the traffic, the phones, the endless scrolling, but the noise inside, the relentless chatter in our minds, the pressure to be more, do more, respond faster. It's as if life has become a competition of who can keep up with the most chaos. But what if the real path forward is the quiet one? There's a beautiful quote from the Stoic philosopher Epictetus. We cannot control the external world, but we can control our responses to it. That idea, simple as it sounds, holds an extraordinary kind of freedom. It means that even if the world is spinning out of control, your inner world doesn't have to follow. And that's what today's journey is about. We are walking the path less noisy. 1. Control what you can. Let go of what you can't. Imagine you're caught in a storm. You can't stop the wind or the rain, but you can choose how you stand in it. You can panic. Or you can steady yourself, plant your feet, breathe. That's what the Stoics taught. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher, wrote in his private journal, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." In our modern world, that message is more urgent than ever. So much of our anxiety comes from trying to control things we were never meant to. Other people's opinions, the news cycle, the future itself. And yet, we forget our real power lies in our choices, in how we show up each day, in how we respond to pain, to praise, to disappointment. Ask yourself, where is my energy going? Am I spending it trying to change the storm, or learning to sail within it? 2. External chaos, internal calm. Buddhism speaks of the unshakable mind. A mind like a mountain, not because it's rigid, but because it's rooted. And it's not about withdrawing from life. It's about being so inwardly grounded that even when the world shakes, you don't. Think of a tree in the wind. Its branches may sway, but its roots hold deep. That's the kind of presence we can cultivate, a calm that's not dependent on everything being perfect. Here's a practice I return to often. When the day feels overwhelming, I sit for 2 minutes. Just 2. I put my hand over my heart, breathe, and remind myself, this moment is mine. The world can spin, but I don't have to. Sometimes, the most radical act in a noisy world is to be still. 3. Stillness in motion, peace amid activity. Now you might be thinking, stillness sounds great, but I have bills to pay, kids to feed, deadlines to meet. I can't just sit on a mountain and meditate. Fair. But here's the secret. Stillness isn't always about stopping. It's a quality you bring with you, into your commute, your relationships, your workday. The Taoists call it Wu Wei, effortless action, flowing with life rather than forcing it. Have you ever watched a master at work? A skilled musician, a calm doctor in a crisis, or a grandparent moving slowly but purposefully? That's stillness in motion. That's presence. When we are truly present, we are not pulled in 100 directions. We are here, one moment at a time. Even in chaos, there can be clarity. Even in motion, there can be peace. 4. Reclaiming the quiet path. So, how do we reclaim this path, the quieter one? We start by noticing. The next time you feel the world's noise invading your mind, pause. Ask, is this mine to carry? Or can I let it pass? Then, choose one small practice. 5 minutes in the morning without your phone. A deep breath before answering an email. Looking at the sky once a day, just to remember you are part of something vast. These aren't escape tactics. They're reclaiming tactics. You're taking back your mind from the noise. And over time, the silence inside gets stronger than the noise outside. 5. The real revolution is inner. Here's the truth no one tells us. Peace is not found in having a perfectly curated life. It's found in how we relate to whatever life gives us. And in a world that keeps shouting more, faster, louder, choosing calm, choosing awareness, choosing simplicity, that's the real rebellion. You don't have to join the noise parade. You can walk the quieter path, the steadier one, the one built on ancient wisdom, but needed now more than ever. Because this path, the path less noisy, isn't about doing less. It's about being more aware of how you do everything. So today, maybe just ask yourself, what part of my life have I handed over to the noise? And what would it feel like to take it back? You don't need to change the whole world. Just start with your own. And that is enough. Practical strategies for inner stillness, your daily toolkit. We live in a world that never stops moving. From the moment we wake up, the noise begins. Emails, notifications, traffic, conversations, responsibilities. The world pulls us outward, scattering our attention like leaves in the wind. But what if we could pause? Not for hours. Not in a monastery. Just for a minute. One conscious breath. One sacred moment. One small act of stillness that reminds us, peace isn't out there, it's in here. Today, I want to offer you something simple. A toolkit for daily inner stillness. You don't need more time, more money, or a different life to use it. You just need to begin, right where you are. Let's start with something you can do right now. 1. Mindful microbreaks. The power of 60 seconds. Have you ever caught yourself rushing through your entire day, only to realize you never really arrived in any moment? This is where mindful microbreaks come in. Just 60 seconds. That's all it takes. Mastering the mind. Shifting your internal dialogue. Have you ever caught yourself saying things in your head that you'd never say to someone you love? I'm such a failure. I'll never get this right. Why do I always mess things up? It's strange, isn't it? The way we speak to ourselves. Harsh, impatient, unforgiving. If someone else spoke to us that way, we'd probably walk away. And yet, when the voice is our own, we let it echo again and again. But what if we didn't have to? What if there was another way to live with the mind? A softer, wiser way? Today, we are diving into the art of mastering your internal dialogue. And no, this isn't about forcing positive thinking or pretending everything's okay when it's not. It's about learning to shift, gently, mindfully, how we relate to the thoughts inside our own head. Let's begin with something simple, but powerful. Observing thoughts without judgment. This is what some traditions call the detached observer technique. Imagine your mind is a sky, and your thoughts are just passing clouds. Some light and fluffy, some dark and heavy. But you are not the clouds. You are the sky. When we take a step back and simply watch our thoughts, without trying to fix them, chase them, or believe them, we begin to taste a kind of freedom. A thought arises, you're not good enough. But instead of reacting with fear or sadness, you notice it like a bird flying across your view. Ah, there's that one again. It's not about suppressing or silencing the mind. It's about witnessing it, with compassion, with space. Try it sometime. Sit quietly for 5 minutes. Don't try to meditate perfectly. Just watch. When a thought comes up, label it gently. That's a worry. That's a memory. That's a judgment. And let it pass. You'll start to notice something remarkable. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. Now, once you've made space between yourself and your thoughts, something else becomes possible. Reframing. Let's say you caught yourself thinking, I always screw things up. That's a heavy, self-defeating thought. But as the observer, you can pause and ask, is that really true? And even if part of it feels true, you can reframe it. Instead of I always screw things up, maybe it becomes, I've made mistakes, but I'm learning. I'm trying. Or even, this didn't go how I wanted. What can I take from it? This isn't just semantics. It's a shift from criticism to curiosity, from self-attack to self-awareness, from judgment to growth. And over time, these small shifts in language become habits. And habits, they shape your emotional world, your choices, your relationships, your life. One of the most powerful tools for shifting internal dialogue is something ancient, yet often overlooked. Gratitude. Now, I know, gratitude can sound like a cliché, but I don't mean forced thankfulness. I'm not talking about ignoring pain or pretending things are fine. I'm talking about a simple redirection of attention. When your mind is looping on what's broken, what's lacking, what's wrong, stop, breathe, and ask, what is still working in this moment? What is here that supports me, even quietly? Maybe it's your breath, the softness of sunlight on your window, a friend who sent a message last night, your body, still carrying you, despite everything. Gratitude shifts your inner narrative by changing your focal point. It doesn't deny what's hard, it just includes what's good. Think of your attention like a flashlight. In a dark room, wherever you point it, that's what you'll see. If you shine it only on problems, the world will feel broken. But shift it slightly, even a few degrees, and you'll start to see what's whole, what's beautiful, what's quietly okay. Let me tell you a quick story. There was a period in my life where everything felt like it was falling apart. A lost job, a breakup, sleepless nights, and my inner voice was brutal. You're failing. You're lost. You'll never figure it out. But one evening, I sat in the park, exhausted. I had nothing left to fight with. And in that silence, a new voice emerged. Not loud, not dramatic, just a whisper. You're still here, and you're still breathing. That was the beginning, not of some miraculous recovery, but of a different kind of relationship with myself. I stopped arguing with my mind and started listening with more softness. I stopped chasing perfection and started honoring presence. And day by day, something began to shift. So if your mind has been loud lately, if your inner dialogue feels more like a battlefield than a sanctuary, I want you to know, you can learn to shift it. You can learn to observe without judgment. You can learn to reframe the harshness into honesty. And you can begin, right now, with one breath and one quiet whisper of gratitude. You don't have to believe everything your mind says. You don't have to fix every thought. You just have to notice and choose, again and again, the voice of kindness. Because mastering the mind isn't about control. It's about connection. It's about choosing, in each moment, how you speak to the one person you'll be with for the rest of your life, yourself. Sustaining your serenity, long-term habits for enduring peace. Have you ever felt peace, only to watch it quietly slip away? Maybe it was during a morning walk when the world still slept, or in the silence after meditation, when your mind finally stopped racing, or that rare moment when everything just felt okay. But then, an email, a harsh word, a traffic jam. Suddenly, that calm evaporates, and you're back in the storm, wondering, how can I hold on to that peace just a little longer? Today, let's explore not just how to find peace, but how to sustain it. How to build small but powerful habits that don't just calm the mind for a moment, but nourish the soul for a lifetime. 1. The power of integration, your life as a meditation. Peace isn't something we visit, it's something we weave into the fabric of our days. And it starts with how we begin them. What's the very first thing you do in the morning? Is it checking your phone? Scrolling through notifications? That habit alone can set the tone for a day filled with reactivity, not reflection. But imagine this, you wake up, and before the noise of the world rushes in, you place your feet on the ground and simply breathe. You sit in silence, just 5 minutes, and let your breath become your anchor. You write a few lines in a journal. How am I feeling? What do I need today? What am I grateful for? This is not about becoming a monk. It's about claiming the first moment of the day as yours. Because when you start your day from the inside out, peace becomes your foundation, not a luxury. Even a simple mindful tea ritual, just standing in your kitchen, noticing the aroma, the warmth, the rising steam, can become a meditation. These tiny moments are not trivial. They are transformative. 2. Embracing discomfort, the art of inner resilience. Peace isn't about avoiding chaos. It's about how we meet it. The truth is, life won't stop throwing curveballs. People will disappoint us. Deadlines will stack up. Our plans will fall apart. But what if we stopped seeing discomfort as something to escape and started seeing it as something to grow through? I once heard a monk say, the mind, like a muscle, only grows when challenged. And it stuck with me, because every difficult moment is secretly a doorway, an invitation to strengthen our response, not just react. Let's say someone cuts you off in traffic. You feel anger rising. That's your training ground. You can curse, or you can breathe. You can recognize, this is not about me. And you let it go. Or maybe you're facing something bigger, grief, uncertainty, burnout. Instead of numbing it with distractions, what if you sat with it, gently, observed it, wrote about it, spoke to a friend or therapist? Growth isn't always loud. Often, it's quiet acceptance. The more we welcome discomfort, the more resilient we become. And the more resilient we are, the deeper our peace roots itself, even in the middle of life storms. 3. The ripple effect. Your peace changes the world. You might think your peace is personal, just about you. But here's the secret. Inner peace is never isolated. Have you ever been around someone who feels deeply grounded? Their presence alone is calming. Their words are slower, kinder. Their energy invites you to slow down, too. That's the ripple effect. When you cultivate peace, you don't just soothe your own nervous system. You begin to influence the space around you, your family, your coworkers, your community. Imagine a parent who models patience for their child, not through lectures, but by breathing through frustration. A teacher who brings mindfulness into the classroom. A leader who listens before reacting. These are not small acts. These are acts of revolution. In a world addicted to noise, anger, speed, you become the still point, the eye of the storm. And from that stillness, others begin to soften, too. So yes, your peaceful habits matter. More than you know. Final reflection. Peace is a practice, not a place. If you're looking for lasting peace, don't chase a perfect moment. Build imperfect ones, every day. Peace lives in your morning breath, your honest journaling, your choice to pause before reacting. It lives in how you meet difficulty, how you show up for others, and how you return, again and again, to what truly matters. And some days, you'll forget. You'll scroll, snap, worry. That's okay. Because peace is not about perfection. It's about return. So take this as your invitation. Start tomorrow morning with intention. Light a candle. Breathe deeply. Write a single sentence. Sit in the quiet. Let that quiet travel with you. And over time, you won't just find peace, you'll become it.